You know, friends, I've done some things in my life that when I reflect on them, I get very embarrassed. I have been pretty cringe at times, as most of you know. You all saw me as a beauty guru, right? Okay, that was not my finest hour.
No! God, please, no!
But it started long before that. For example, off the top of my head, I can remember this one time where I tried to make my own episode of that show, The Swan, but I couldn't talk good because I had bad allergies.
Well, I've never really had any real friends because I've had a problem with my voice box my whole life. People have my allergies would smoke a lot of cigarettes, and I'd never be able to breathe, so I was always the fat girl who couldn't run in gym class. I would love to be a singer, but I'm on TV thanks to this fun.
We had a lot of cats growing up. But thankfully, when I'm laying in bed at night, cringing over things that I did 22 years ago, sometimes it helps me to remember that I'm not alone. The truth is, we're all a little bit cringe. You know, I'm cringe, you're cringe, your dad is definitely cringe. And even celebrities who are sometimes worshipped for being cool are quite cringe. I feel like we've seen a lot of celebrities doing really embarrassing things over the last few years. I know they've always done embarrassing things, but I don't remember in my lifetime just seeing it quite this much. But celebrities are doing some embarrassing things, including, but not limited to, Fergie singing the national anthem weird. Lorde telling her fans not to sing along at her concert.
I am my mother's child. I love you till my breathing stops.
What else? There was Justin Timberlake doing this. Or how about Travis Scott falling in auto-tune? That one's actually my favorite. Yeah. That actually is not embarrassing. That was baller. Who else? Oh, Katy Perry. As you know, she's just embarrassed the heck out of all of us as of late with her Baby Shark dance on tour. JoJo Siwa is embarrassing when she does literally anything, but mostly this. I, of course, could go on, but I think you get it. The point is, people are embarrassing, and it seems like nobody is above it, but there does seem to be one reigning king of cringe right now. Somebody who has been so embarrassing as of late that even his lifelong diehard fans are turning on him. That's right, kids, I'm talking about the slapper himself, William Smith.
This is the bounce back.
William's his first name, right? Or his real name, I mean. Let's Google it. William Carroll Smith Jr.? Carroll? Carroll. Wow, okay, well, let's add that to the list of embarrassing things he's done. Having the name Carroll. Grow up.
Get the shit together, Carol!
So we talked about Will Smith a couple weeks ago in my dad music video, and we really just focused on his new song, Pretty Girls, which does suck, but admittedly has grown on me a little bit, mostly just because it's now familiar and I know the words. But we really didn't dive too deeply into what's going on with him because there just wasn't time. There are more important things to talk about, you know? Things like Russell Crowe's panting dog. That clearly takes precedence over Will Smith's failing career. No, I guess failing career is an exaggeration. I mean, he's clearly he still has a career. He's still doing well. Sorry, I haven't figured out the best mic position in the new house. Will Smith still has a career and is still doing well, apparently, but the internet has definitely fallen out of love with him. And to me, his fall from grace has been so extra hard. It's an extra hard fall because of how beloved he was before all of this. He's like one of the most successful actors of our time. He literally could do no wrong, it seems like, in the public's eye. He was so charming and cool and funny and talented in every good adjective. He's an amazing actor, which we can't deny. I mean, he's kind of always seemed like the dude who has all the answers. He looked like the type of guy that would wear a lanyard with his business card all laminated and whatnot.
All laminated and whatnot.
But oh my God, how the mighty have fallen so hard. He has fallen off a cruise ship and kind of pinballed down and hit a lot of railings and broke a lot of shit. And he is still falling as we speak, it would seem, but like not in a cool way with autotune. So it seems like, his downfall started in 2020 when he and Jada Pinkett did this podcast thing. I guess it was her podcast, Red Table Talk. I can't remember what it's called. He was a guest on her podcast and they talked to each other about their marriage and said things to each other that should only be said in the privacy of one's own home, but they decided to say it in front of billions of people on the internet. Question mark. And people felt like this was really weird and that he completely emasculated himself in this interview. He came across as spineless. Personally, for me, the clip is like kind of impossible to watch.
You and I were going through a very difficult time. We broke up.
And then what did you do, Jada?
Well, you know, I got into a different kind of entanglement with August.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship.
I actually think he could have completely bounced back from this because while he came across as, you know, a simp, that's what the youngsters say, he didn't exactly do anything wrong in this scenario. She was kind of painted as the villain. He totally could have bounced back from that until the slap in 2022. That's where things really started to go south for him, at least from a chronically online woman's perspective. Because it wasn't just that he slapped Chris Rock, right? There was many other layers, much nuance that added to this problem. I feel like a huge thing that made him look bad, like the slap would have been terrible on its own, but the fact that he also originally laughed at Chris Rock's joke until he looked over and saw Jada's expression, that made him look extra stupid. The screaming that followed, the fact that he then later apologized to the Academy during his acceptance speech, but not Chris Rock. The videos that came out of him partying and dancing, holding his award at like a Vanity Fair party afterwards, that was really the nail in the coffin. Go home. If you do something horrible and cringe and hurt somebody, go home and be ashamed of yourself. Don't party. Get some help.
Get some help.
That was the beginning of the end, and it has only seemed to get worse from that moment on for Lil Willie. There's also this clip going around from, I think it's an Actors Roundtable video where he was just being generally cringe and it didn't exactly age well.
So when I was 15 years old, my first girlfriend cheated on me.
Oh.
And I remember making a decision that nobody would ever cheat on me again. And the way I was going to do that is by being the biggest actor on earth.
Huh.
Right? So
I don't know, that one isn't that bad to me, not in comparison to some of the stuff he's done recently. And I think what's a little bit cringe about the clip for me personally is him just like saying that he's the biggest movie star ever, because you just can't say that, you know, even if it's true.
being the biggest actor on earth.
So you agree? You think you're a really big movie star? And as if all this wasn't bad enough, he started doing some other stuff that the internet didn't like. For example, started making content with a bunch of TikTokers and other artists and stuff who are all like 30 years younger than him. I don't personally see anything wrong with creating content with people that are younger than you or older than you. Like, I don't think age should really be an issue in that way. But it seems like what people feel is that this has just been clearly calculated to make himself more relevant and to try and like regain his positive image that he lost after the slap and after the entanglement interview. The people he's collaborating, it doesn't make sense. It all feels very odd and forced and contrived. And you can't do that nowadays. People know what you're up to. They're hip to it, you know what I mean? They know what you're doing and they don't like it.
I know what you're doing right now, and I don't like it.
So that's kind of where the public adoration for Will Smith has really begun to wane. However, it all came to a head recently when he released his new album based on a true story. So as you guys know, because we've already talked about it, the response to his music was awful. I've yet to read a single positive review or a single positive comment. That doesn't mean they're not out there, I just haven't seen it. So not only was the response really bad to the actual music, but people also had an issue with the very cringe way that he promoted it, which was mostly by going on people's podcasts and freestyle rapping.
Go! Scored on these boys. Sold out movie theaters and even tours on these boys. People ask me how I do it. I just bite off more than I can chew. Then I chew it.
It hurts me. You know what it is? I fully believe that the reason people roasted him for this is because he has such an air of arrogance. Lyrics are subjective, you know? I really don't think people would be roasting his lyrics if he wasn't so freaking full of himself. Like, imagine if he had just come on there and been like, yeah, like, after everything that happened, I did a lot of self-reflecting. This album is, you know, the byproduct of that. If he had spit some lyrics, as the youngsters say, that were like raw and emotional, showed some remorse or humility or anything, but instead he just talked himself up about how cool he is and how he's the illest and just like growled at us.
I am the illest. I'm good at a bunch of stuff. I'm an action star.
A valuable lesson I want you guys to take away from this is that if you are not in favor with the public eye, you do not growl. If you have ruined your own reputation with bad behavior, do not growl when you rap. Say it with me. If you have ruined your own reputation with bad behavior, do not growl when you rap. Try and tell you guys that constantly. I did get a kick out of all the comedians that roasted him for the lyrics.
I am the paint, and I'm the brush, and I'm the canvas. I'm the floor, I'm the ceiling. What the?
That one got me. But they make a good point. You can't just point out objects and say that you are them.
I am the paint, and I'm the brush, and I'm the canvas. I am a savage, I am a Libra.
It's giving I love lamp. Oh man, what are you doing, Big Willie? Willie Carroll. Well, friends, as if this couldn't get any worse, this is the funny part in my opinion. Big Willie did yet another goofy, goobery thing when he shared some videos of the tour that he's currently on to his Instagram account, which, side note, I had no idea he was on tour. If I hadn't heard about this, I would have not known he was on tour. Not that I should know everything, but I don't feel like it was very heavily promoted. I guess maybe he didn't need to, because it does look like he's selling a ton of tickets. So anyway, he posted some videos of his show. I can't remember what city he was in, but people noticed immediately that a lot of the video clips that were taken of the crowd were not real humans, but rather AI generated humans. And oh my God, they look ridiculous. This is really bizarre because my very first thought when I saw this, again, without having known that he was even on tour, I just saw this clip and I thought, okay, clearly like he couldn't sell tickets. This is a J-Lo situation and they, you know, used AI to make it look like he had a crowd there. Again, come to find out that's not the case. There is a big old crowd there, which makes it even more confusing. If you already have a crowd, why do you need this? You know, why do you need a gaggle of gargoyles? So I did some research. AKA I Googled it and read some already researched articles, and Vice.com had this to say. The editor had some concert footage of Will performing and they needed more of that concert footage. So the beginning part of the shot, when you see the crowd, yes, there are some obvious signs that it's AI. The timing, the motion's unnatural, the way their bodies move, blah, 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 blah. They're very, very short shots. You can tell that they sort of put the shot into the editor. When it started to descend into mush, they clipped it. I'm not going to bore you with this whole article, but in other words, the videographer did a crummy job, I guess, and took video clips that were too short, and so they had to use AI basically to extend the clips, much like it can take a photo, you know, a still image, and make people move and do stuff, like the one I did where a monkey snatched my wig. And this is just something that I cannot comprehend. Like, AI, I don't get as freaked out about it as some people. I think some of the edits are fun. I like watching the glass fruit cutting. But this is a situation where I find it to be really weird, because what would someone have done even 10 years ago if the clips of the audience weren't long enough? Just change up your edit a little bit. You don't need this. This is awful. This is freaking The Hills Have Eyes. The comments on this Instagram post kill me. Half of the footage is AI. Delete this video, fam. The AI is unacceptable. Imagine using AI and generating a sign about cancer. This is absolute clown behavior. Well, hold on. Was the sign real? I'm more confused now than I was before, because some of the signs was like stuff spelled wrong and it's worded weird, but it was also, English was not the first language in all of these places, so it very easily could have just been like broken English, you know what I mean? Like those t-shirts people buy in Japan that say things like precise dwarf bravery or hamper. Willie Carroll, of course, had to lean into this controversy a little bit. Instead of addressing it, he just posted a video clip of him performing to a bunch of AI-generated cats. Hilarious. Nothing says career revival like performing to a crowd that coughs up digital hairballs. Okay, so sure, his crowds are real. That's fine. But what you will absolutely not convince me is real is this clip from one of his shows where a woman allegedly threw her bra onto the stage. You can clearly tell, in my opinion, that this was just thrown by the camera guy. I don't even really believe that a crowd was present in this shot. This seems like sound check. I don't know, guys. I think it's safe to say that we have all been broken by Willie Carroll. If you know, you know, you know. I think the moral of today's story goes without saying, but I'm still gonna say it for any celebrity watching out there, which I know there's probably Dozens of you. Stop being embarrassing, okay? Keep humility. Don't let your ego get gigantic. Don't do desperate weird stuff to stay relevant. Use self-control if someone ticks you off. Don't air your marriage problems in front of millions of people. And for the love of God, stop assuming that anybody wants to hear your political opinions. I think if celebrities and people in general would just follow those guidelines, which is like bare minimum, things could go a lot better for them. This is my opinion. Well, that's it for me today, friends. Appreciate you hanging out. Don't worry. This is my first time filming in the new house and, you know, it'll get better. I'm gonna get a background going. I just don't know what I want yet. I was kind of over like the neon 90s childlike background. Like I kept thinking it was gonna look cool and neon and like adult, like Meat Canyon's background, and it just kept looking weird, like an actual child lived there. So I don't really know what I want this go around. Give me your suggestions, would you? Also, this is completely random and unrelated to this video, but there was just something I wanted to say. I got a couple comments in my last video where I announced that I was like moving to Nashville and all that stuff, and someone said, yeah, I've noticed that your videos have gotten less funny. And that's valid. Like, you can have whatever opinion you want to have. I just want to say some words because it's not the first time that people have said this to me. I just want you guys to like keep in mind, it's important to remember that just because someone is a comedian doesn't mean they're always hilarious 100% of the time. Like, my channel is kind of like a podcast, and I really just talk how I would normally talk. I cover, you know, trending topics, movie reviews, whatever I want to talk about, and I like do it in my own voice, but my own personality is not 100% hilarious all the time. Not every line is a punchline. A perfect example of this is Theo Vaughn, who is a comedian, is clearly hilarious, but sometimes on his podcast, he just talks like a normal person. And that goes for like any comedy podcast I can think of. Besides maybe Bad Friends. I think they're pretty much always funny, but I'm not always funny. I just wanted you to keep that in mind because it's like, there's no trend here. Like, I didn't like stop doing a certain type of content. The more and more comfortable I am on camera every year, the more myself I'm gonna be. And you're gonna see me in different moods and having differing opinions in it. Okay, that was random. Maybe I should have made that a short. I don't know if I'll even include it in this video. Thank you guys for watching. Love you all. See you in the next video. Peace out. All right, we're filming. Here we go. First time filming in the new crib. Ew, it's echoey in here. Welcome to the first video in the new crib. What's up? Ooh, and also, welcome to the apparent gun show. What's up? But oh my God, you have no idea how happy I am to be back at work. Like, we've been busy with moving and everything, but still without filming and talking to you guys, I feel like I have no purpose. What are you guys drinking today? I'm drinking Liquid Death Serial Criminal. It tastes like Fruity Pebbles. ASMR.